opportunities between those countries. So I agreed. I said I will go. I went to Vodacom. I informed them. They were very gracious about it. They didn't cause any dramas or anything. They just said to me, look, you enjoy being in government. Even you being in Brazil is also good for South African companies. So with pleasure, we'll release you, we'll let you go. And I went to Brazil. I stayed for 5 years almost. And then came the time for the Limpopo conference, and I was like, no, I don't think I want, I'm fine now. I think I can be in Brazil and then I can go to another country. And the Women's League, through Comrade Batabile Dlamini, said to me, Comrade Lindy, the women need strong women. The Women's League needs comrades with a good background of education, of experience, and of your caliber and all. We want you to stand. And I said, but I'm in Brazil. But they said, but you're coming back. So you can stand. We want you here. Then I agreed. Then I stood. Then of course I made it to the National Executive Committee. Fortunately, it was towards the time that I was also rounding up in Brazil. I came back, went back to communications in Luthuli House, and I was a full-time worker in Luthuli, not because of being national executive or no, but just working with the Department of Information and Publicity of the ANC. Then I was, of course, elected back, not now in Gauteng, but elected to National Assembly. That was 2009, I think. And then, just as I was starting there, President Zuma said to me, I think I need to have a conversation with you and some other comrades, because his office now being in the Union Building and all that will also need cadres that he know the work and would do the job right. Then I was appointed as his advisor on international relations. You know, at the time I was appointed by him, there was like, she was an advisor to Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Now she's advisor to, and I can tell you, those two things had nothing to do with each other. Absolutely nothing. I think because I had shown my capacity at international relations, President Zuma, I don't even think he thought about my having been an advisor to Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma or anything of that sort. So it was just people talking on the side, and I couldn't care a damn about their talk on the side. I had a job to do. And I was with President Zuma the whole 5 years, being his advisor. And there's a lot that I learned. I was exposed yet again, particularly to the African continent, because I wanted very much to focus on the African continent. Europe was there. What was new in Europe? Nothing. What was new in America? Asia, yes, but Africa for me was the spot, and especially the institutions such as the OAU, the AU, and those were the places where I thought my experience of the African continent and the life I have lived in the African continent and the opportunity to contribute towards changing the approach of the leadership to always be focused on doing things for its people. That was the drive that I had, and I think I was with him, and we worked very well at the time. Then again, I was elected back to, because I was a member of the National Executive Committee. Then I was elected back into the National Executive Committee. And then I was elected back into Parliament again in 2014. That's when I was then given the responsibility of being Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises. And wow, I enjoyed that work. Why did I enjoy that work? Is because I had lived in the African continent. I had seen what small and medium enterprises do to create jobs for people. I had seen how Africans many do not even depend that much on government. They wake up in the morning and they do sell whatever they are able to sell because the environment is enabling for them to do so. So I thought South Africa was overly regularized. South Africa was monopolized too much. It didn't enable small and medium enterprises to just wake up in the morning and say, "Angiyosebenzela muntu. I'm going to go and sell these magwinya," but the environment is created for them to do that. Or I'm going to start a factory of production of something, and the environment is created for them. And I worked very well with the organizations that had been calling for the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. But again, politics, I finished my 5 years, and I didn't take it for granted that I would go back, because it doesn't work that way. But I did go back, and then unfortunately I couldn't go back to small and medium enterprises, but that's okay. And then I was appointed as Minister of Social Development. That was also a very, very exciting for me, because I felt, being a Minister of Small Business Development, there's an opportunity, even at social development, to direct some people into thinking about small and medium enterprises and informal business, so that even when they get the little that they get from government, they could build on it. Yes, some of them are old, they are pensioners, but people go into pension at 60. And quite frankly, for me, at 60, there's still something that you can be able to do if the environment is being created for you. That was my last in government, and I am out of government now. But serving the people of South Africa, for me, is not always about being in government.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to do this. I stood back deliberately and I wrote questions based on what you told us.
Yeah.
Actually, this is what you want, guys. I stood back. So here are the things. One thing for me is, I heard you many times mentioning communication. So I'm a communicator myself, and you said communication. And what I loved about it, you didn't say communications, you said communication. That tells me that this is a true communicator. You are a trained communicator. There's a difference of those who call it with an S and those who call it with an S, and you are the best version of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the MK story, the ANC story in exile, what we call Koma. Koma is in Tabin.
Yes.
We are told, and the expectation is, once you go there, when you come back, you don't talk about the thing that you go there, and then people are called, if you do that, if you speak about the things that happened there, and then they call you umdwembe. I just want to understand. I've got questions that I wrote here. The question that you think you're not going to answer, it's okay. I just want to understand. I'm going to throw a few questions from what I've got here. And then, like I say, if you want to answer, you will. Just keep it short, because I want to release you. You're going to an AIDS engagement. There's a famous picture of you. And you were lying or holding a book, and there's a picture of you with AK, and you've been associated with this. And you seem to be like the only, even though you're not the only one who struggled, you are only one with seen as, with military fatigue. You are seen as that. In short, just explain why you were tied in that picture, what had happened in the day. In short, just so.
Oh, that day was one of the most difficult days, because we had been traveling from Kampala to the camps, and our car broke down on the way, and we were like almost 40 or so kilometers away from the camp, and the car broke down, and then we had to walk all that way to the camp, and we were walking in a hostile area, Fortunately, part of the road towards, there was a camp of Uganda there, Ugandan soldiers and all. To arrive there and be received there when we are not known is also a danger zone. But they received us because they knew that MKK does always pass by car there. They kept us there just for about an hour or so, and then they said to us, we have to leave and we have to walk. That picture was taken after that long walk. The sun had burnt me. You can see my skin, I was burnt. And then when I got to the camp, obviously when you get to the camp after some disaster like that, you have to answer for yourselves. How did this happen? Because it could have put you in danger. It could have put the comrades also in danger in the camp. But they understood. And because I wasn't one who lived in the camp, I think the people who suffered for it most were the soldiers who were in fatigue and all. Me, I was a soldier, yes, but I was in a civilian space. And so when I got there, I was waiting to hear what was going to be said to them. And maybe I was going to be called to be asked, how did this happen? So I was sitting there in that, because we had dwellings, what we call dwellings. There were a few houses there, but funny houses, but there were dwellings where we dug and lived in them. So that photo was taken by my husband, who was not my husband then, was just a boyfriend. And because I was allowed the camera at the time, I'm the one that used to take the pictures. But even taking the pictures was very specific. We couldn't take pictures anyhow. So I asked him to take that picture. And at the time, actually, I wasn't even seeing that the AK, the folding part was next to me for some reason. It was later when I went printing that, oh, this was his AK, the folding part, because it was the commanders that carried the small ones that are folding. Us, we carried the long ones. So that photo was taken on that day because I wasn't very happy with myself. I was very scared. I was still waiting to hear whether there was going to be punishment for what had happened.